Right now, we're going to turn to another element of this story, being joined by the chief of psychology at Texas Children's Hospital, Karin Price. She's helping lead a trauma response team that is going to offer support to the Uvalde community. We've heard how tight of a community it is there. Karin, good morning to you. I think so many people are wondering, what do you say to those members of the community? And this isn't your first time dealing with a school shooting like this.
That's correct. The things that we say to the community are that we're here to support you. You're our neighbors, and we want to help in any way that we can. We want to mobilize resources to address any of the needs that the community has, beginning now, but also in the long run as they recover and move on to the next phase of this tragedy.
Just hearing in Tony's interview there, hearing that young girl who saw her best friend get shot, how do you help a child start to process that?
Right now, in this immediate time frame, we don't worry about processing the trauma. We worry about keeping kids safe. We worry about the adults who are around them, the people that care for them and take care of them, getting the help that they need to be the support that their parents need, to let them know that all feelings that they have are okay, to keep structure and routine in their children's lives, and to give them the space to talk about the pieces that they want to talk about and not push them to talk about the things they're not ready to talk about yet.
You're heading into Uvalde, you're going to the front lines. What's your first order of business when you actually meet with the parents and the survivors?
Our first order of business is to make sure that they are armed with the information they need to support their children the best. Those are things like making sure that parents are getting the support they need to manage their emotions. All emotions are okay in this situation. These families have been through truly an unspeakable tragedy, but they need to get their help and support away from their children, so that when they are sitting with their children, when they're laying in bed with them at night, they're there to give the support and comfort that their child needs to deal with their own feelings.
This story is so big, Karin. I think it's different when it's children, innocent, defenseless children at school of all places. So even people who are watching this are filled with outrage, filled with grief, filled with a lot of anger, too. What's the best way to deal with that as you're watching these images and listening to these heartbreaking stories?
One of the things that we suggest is making sure that you have an outlet, whether that is your partner, your spouse, a family member, a best friend, somebody that you're connected with in your community to process those feelings with. The other thing is to make sure that everybody is also taking care of themselves. We can't help other people if we are not taking care of ourselves. For people that are really traumatized by the pictures that they see and the stories that they hear, they may need to take a break and be really careful about what they are exposing themselves to. And we also need to be really careful about what our children are being exposed to.
And what can you say about mental health at this time? It seems the conversation is now moving to this is a mental health issue. We need to do something about mental health, which is also true. But there are a lot of mentally ill people that don't go and do this. Isn't this so much bigger than a mental health issue?
Mental health is certainly part of the picture. I don't think it's the full story. We know that we have a mental health crisis in this country and really in many countries across the world in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And certainly we need to do our best to create systems of care to take care of children, adults, families, at any stage where they might be experiencing mental health concerns. I do think that we can talk about, as information comes out, how we could make things different in the future, what signs we need to look for that somebody might be experiencing the kind of mental health concerns that could lead them to be dangerous, while also recognizing that you're right, the vast majority of people with mental illness are not dangerous. They're not a danger to society.
Well, Karin, we're glad your team will be there for this community. Sorry that you've had this experience already in order to go serve them. Thank you for your time.